All right, folks, here I am. We're filming in the grandkids' room again. We're enjoying this very much. It's actually a pretty good setup for us, so I think it's going to work. Let's talk about Spider-Man Far From Home and give you the update on what we like, what we don't like, and I assure you, no spoilers until there's a warning, because there are some big spoilers in this film, but I don't want to ruin anything for anyone, so you will be warned if you stay tuned. Spider-Man Far From Home, a great addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Over 20 films, wraps up Phase 3, the Infinity Saga. It all kind of comes to a close. The film has a lot to offer, and let me tell you what, Tom Holland again cements himself as just an amazing Spider-Man / Peter Parker. I think you're going to enjoy the film a lot. Now, if you're new or if you don't really know, I'm going to remind you, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Let's help us grow the channel, help us make a presence here on YouTube if you enjoy getting movie reviews just like this one. So, all right, so Spider-Man, we're after Endgame, and if you haven't seen Endgame, there's going to be spoilers with that because there's no way to talk about the movie. It's in the trailers now, so, you know, Tony Stark sacrifices himself. Spoiler alert. So, there's no way around this, right? So the whole world is reeling from Iron Man's loss. Everyone is referring to the snap as a blip because they don't really know why people vanished and came back, that kind of thing. So all of that's taking place. Peter's back at school. He's trying to dig on MJ a little bit, and we get some interesting footage that was released in the trailers to set up this new story with Mysterio. So if you don't know much about Mysterio, Mysterio is a villain in the Spider-Man universe. He's a very interesting character in the comic book. Many fans like myself wanted to see this character come to life in this film, and it is at times truly spectacular, and we'll break some of that down more after the spoilers because I do not want to tread anywhere close to anything that's going to ruin this film for you. So what I'm going to tell you is it gives you everything you want in a Spider-Man film. One, it is totally about Peter and trying to have a relationship with MJ. Zendaya does a great job. They have incredible chemistry together. I enjoy seeing a lot of that. Some of it's not particularly good on screen because it kind of grows with the film, but that's okay. There's slow parts and we got to build up, so that was fine. Two, action sequences, again, are awesome. Jon Watts is the director on this film. He directed Homecoming. He's really coming into his own as a director in the Marvel Universe. I expect that he will possibly be the new replacement for the Russos for a future film, possibly even an Avengers film. I would not be opposed to that. If Marvel can kind of eke him away from the Sony contract that he's probably in. With that said, I would not also be shocked if we see Sony either do a third standalone Spidey film with Tom Holland or make the fourth film or the third or fourth film be a Sinister Six multiple villain kind of thing where we can really showcase Jon Watts coming into his own. Watts does a great job with the characters in this film. So Mysterio is the villain. Mysterio is handled well in that he brings a very kind of weird character into the Marvel Universe with the tech and all of that. So it was a really great way to do that and introduce the character. The trailers tease a lot of stuff, some of which is not even in the film. And I'm not going to tread on spoilers, but I will tell you that you're going to be pleased. You're going to like how it integrates and make references to other films. You're going to like how it will tease you to want more of the Marvel Cinematic Universe when we're done. And at the end of the day, I think you're going to get something that's going to entertain you. It's going to make you a good Spider-Man fan. It doesn't let anybody down, and all you're going to do is come out of this wanting another film. So with all of that, I give Spider-Man a 7, a very solid 7. If you have a kid, or if you're really just kind of into the superhero thing for just being a superhero thing, this film is probably closer to an 8 for you. If you are a comic book nerd, if you're going to dissect the Avengers, or you're just expecting each film to keep ramping up, then you're probably going to be disappointed, right? This has kind of got that feel. I felt the same way a little bit with Ant-Man and the Wasp, right? So it's like, it's a standalone story. It's kind of like when you read Infinity Gauntlet, the comic book, this series of a whole bunch of things. The whole universe is at risk. Then you pick up a comic book and it's, you know, it's just an Ant-Man story. Or in this case, it's just a Spider-Man story. So there are, you know, big stakes, but it's not like the whole universe is at stake. Some fans, I guess, are kind of let down by that. I really didn't care. I loved it. I enjoyed this very much, and I think you will too. So with that, let me wrap that up. That's a 7. We're going to leave it there. If you don't want spoilers, I need you to kind of kick out now, come back later, tell me what you think, what you don't think, that kind of thing. I'd love your feedback in the comment field. I love to try to answer those as quick as I can, but I want to drift into the spoilers because this film is loaded with very interesting things that really change the dynamic going forward. So first up, there's a lot of stuff set up in the film to kind of close out the end game, right? We have, again, post Iron Man, we have Nick Fury chasing after Peter Parker, needing him on a mission, needing him to be involved. He needed him to replace Iron Man. And there's a lot of pressure on Peter on that. He's like, I want to be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, man. I want to dig on this chick. I kind of want to be a teenager for a minute, right? I've been to space. I want to do all this. And that's kind of their argument. Like, you know, you're bigger than that, man. You're Spider-Man. You're an Avenger now. And that is really a cool growth element in this film, that it really shows the struggle that Peter's having, and they do that fantastically well. So Nick Fury and Maria Hill are in this film, and it really kind of moves the story along. And as we get Mysterio, and we see Mysterio as a true surrogate for Iron Man. The entire premise of the film is that he is becoming the world's new hero. He's taking on these creature things that are attacking. He seems to be able to have the tech from his universe to deal with them. So there's a lot of Spider-Verse references and things like that. We saw that in the trailer a little bit. So we're going to see a little bit of that in this film, and really fans of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse will be thrilled to see that part early in the film. And the film does a really good job of moving that along pretty well. And of course, most of us are sitting there like, well, Mysterio's a bad guy, so we're all waiting for the twist, right? So the real hinge on the film is that Tony Stark has left Pete these glasses. You know, if you remember the other films, this tech and able to have this AI control is in these glasses. And this glasses is called Edith. And Edith gives him access to all of Stark tech, drones, there's space tech. There's really cool stuff, right? It's voice activated and all that. And Pete doesn't really know what to do here. He mishandles it early in the film. And then as they start to bring all this down, we see Mysterio defeat the creatures. We see Pete actually hand over the glasses. He kind of gives them to this guy, says, you need to be the hero. I'm going to go back and just be a teenage boy, and my high school will be the local Spider-Man. So when is Mysterio bad, right? We are all sitting there waiting for Mysterio to be bad, and it all comes together with this bar scene, which was extremely weird because they have costumes but not masks, and there's people in the room, and he gets the glasses, and immediately he does something I actually thought was really, really cool, right? Pete leaves the room. He thinks he did the right thing. He can go back to his life. He can chase after MJ. And then we see Quentin Beck, the Mysterio, stand up on the bar, basically say, ha, 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 I got the glasses, and go around the room. They're toasting champagne. They're having drinks. And he's pointing out characters and references to these other films, right? All this AI tech in these glasses tie right back to Civil War and that therapy messaging scene. There's a part where one of the guys was a lab tech and yelled at by General Ross in one of the previous films. And you see that basically this is a disgruntled employee meeting, man. You got all these people that have come together to be anti-Tony Stark, and I really thought that was pretty good. That was a really cool way to tie it into the Marvel Universe, but have something very separated for Spider-Man, and for him to kind of grow into that whole, I need a father figure. What's my identity going to be? Am I going to be a global hero or a local hero? So that premise, I think, was done okay. It is a very big twist, but we're all kind of waiting for it, but I thought it was done well to surprise everybody. Like, it was done in a way that you don't exactly see coming, and then to have it tie into all the other films was a good way, again, to close some of this stuff out, put a bookend on, this is the end of these kind of films. We're going to tie in and move them forward, but we're not going to be like totally handcuffed by the mythology that we've created. All right, so the biggest spoilers in the entire film come at the end of the film, right? So you actually have two credit scenes, and the mid-credit scene is one that sets up MJ swinging with Spider-Man, kind of taking that in. They're a couple, and it's kind of cool. He's trying to introducing her to his Spidey world, and it was very overwhelming for her. But then you see this moment in New York. The video plays, and you realize Mysterio has tricked Peter Parker and made this video clip out of all of this footage and this audio from their final battle when Mysterio is dead, right? You think, well, is he really dead? Because everything right now has been a trick. And by the way, some of those scenes are really, really spectacular. But the thing that's interesting is it's all been edited together. It's showcased on this big screen. It involves the Daily Bugle. And yes, we see J. Jonah Jameson. He shows up, and it's no other than J.K. Simmons from the original Raimi films. The Raimi character comes back. We see him. He doesn't have the flat top. He doesn't have the Nazi mustache, but it's him. It's the voice. It is totally Alex Jones, as this is a conspiracy theory. Spider-Man's bad. Oh, by the way, there's more. He leans into the camera right before he dies, and Quentin Beck says, and Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And it's like, whoa, he's been outed. Just like that, bam, everything changes. So everything you think you know from Spider-Man Homecoming to Far From Home and how this was going to go, all change in a mid-credit scene just like that. This is really why it's the end of that first 3 phases, and why this is the beginning of something new, because it's like, wow, where do you go from here? Then, to make it even more complicated, and this is really cool when you see the Nick Fury elements through the whole film, because I was like, man, this isn't really working for me. I'm raising questions. It's very interesting how Mysterio's kind of getting over on everybody. At the end of the thing, we have them going around. It's Nick Fury, Maria Hill, and they transform, and they're really the Skrulls, right? They're the shapeshifters. Talos is right there, and it's all been a mirage. It's all a scam. They've been shapeshifting. Nick Fury's on vacation. It wasn't the real Nick Fury all along. So all of them faking and fooling Nick Fury, it was all bogus, man. It was crazy to see that. Now you see all the fans going bonkers over Secret Invasion, which is this famous comic book story of the Skrulls being all around you. There's shapeshifters all around you. There's people that could be everywhere. And it really, really just blows mind of what's next for the Avengers and the future films and all of that. And we won't be surprised. I won't be surprised. We see this with Black Widow, like we see traces, elements of things, let's say in the Cold War. We won't see pieces in the Eternals and some of the other films, Doctor Strange and these kinds of things. And there are references to little nuggets, little Easter eggs all along the way. You're going to be entertained by all that. Maybe there's a bigger spoiler that you saw, something you thought struck you more that I didn't cover, because there is a lot to cover. But tell me what that is. Throw it in the comments. Let me hear from you. I'd love to hear that and get your feedback. I gave the film 7. It's a very solid 7. I got to be honest, with the after credit scene, I almost want to go a little further, because it's almost an 8, but it's really right around that 7-8 range. It depends, because it changes everything when you see those 2 credit scenes applied to the story that you've sat through. And there's a few moments where it's a little low, because it's kind of like a vacation film. It's a romantic comedy film, but at the end, it's a great representation of the Spider-Man comic books. I think you'll like it. It ties well to the Marvel Universe. I think you'll like that part as well. And basically, you're going to come out of this and go, can't wait for more. And that's got to be what they all hope for. Anyway, that's my take. I'm Pops. Let me hear from you.